Hello everyone, welcome to another Narc Survivor live video. As you can see, this video is titled When the Narcissist Realizes They Had Something Real. Because I can see that there's a lot of titles like this floated around on YouTube, but I can tell you this. No narcissist is ever going to realize that. They're never going to see someone in that way. They're never going to love someone or miss them. They're never going to feel like you had a real connection. There is no connection for a narcissist. They cannot connect to you. They cannot be vulnerable. And it's because they are self-absorbed. They only think about themselves. They only think about what they want and what they can get because they're opportunists. And also they lack empathy, so they have an inability to share and understand your feelings and experience. They can't feel what you feel, which means that there is no connection. As I've said before, there's no such thing as a relationship with a narcissist. I refer to it as a relationship, but that's not really what it is. Because a relationship is the way in which two people connect. Now, of course, you're connected to them, or you think you're connected to them, but really, you're just connected to a false self that they're not connected to. And if they're not connected to that false self, then of course, they're not connected to you. So, a narcissist never actually has anything real in their lives. You may be real, but they can't have anything real with you. They can't share anything real because they lack empathy, so they have an inability to feel what you feel, to share an experience with you, which means that they cannot have anything real, which means that they're never going to realize that they had something real. But what I will say is that narcissists do recognize when they had something good, especially when they've gone to a worse situation, a situation that's not good, a situation that's bad, a situation in which it doesn't revolve around them as it did with you, because you were always there for the narcissist. When they said jump, you said how high. You were at their beck and call. You were there for them. You gave them what they wanted, and while a narcissist is never truly satisfied, they definitely ate that up and they had a good time with you. They were partaking in everything that you had to offer. And at least for a moment of time, they were fulfilled with that. And that's why they kept you around for such a long time. Because they realized that it was benefiting them. They realized that it was good. So of course, when they go to a worse situation that's not serving them, when they downgrade, when they go down in life and they end up with someone who's not as good as you, someone who's not able to supply them and make them feel good about themselves, make them feel like they're on top of the world. And then in that moment for them, it's like everything was perfect when they were with you. It's like they had no problems, no worries, just because you were there for them and you were validating them, making them feel good. They were on a high with that. It was a distraction from their emotional pain. when they were with you, it made them feel a lot better about themselves. It made them feel powerful, attractive, successful, desirable, handsome, sexy, beautiful. That's how they felt when they were with you. And perhaps maybe they'd gone on to a worse situation. The supply isn't as good. It's not as potent as it was with you. Trust and believe that they will feel it. Even if they have got supply now, they're going to feel that decline, that decrease, that reduction in its force and intensity, in its power, in its ability to affect them, in its impact, its influence. Yes, they're most definitely going to notice the reduction in its intensity. They're most definitely going to be aware of that. And it's not going to feel good for them. It may leave them longing and yearning for what they had before with you. It may make them wish that they could go back. And that's why you often get a hoover, but they may try to come back to you. But know this, when a narcissist tries to come back, it's because whatever they were trying to accomplish elsewhere, it didn't succeed. And that's the only reason why they're coming back to you. Because if whatever they were trying to do somewhere else, if that succeeded, then why would they come back? If they could have something better, they would. It's only because they can't. Maybe they couldn't secure the new source. They couldn't manipulate them. Or maybe, and this is the most likely thing, is that the new supply wasn't good enough for them. Because keep in mind, narcissists are master manipulators. Narcissists always get what they want. They got you. So most narcissists, they're not going to have any problems finding a new source. They typically get a new source in the same day. But sociopaths and psychopaths, yes, they could get a new source, but they prefer not to. They would rather just be alone, even if it's for months or years, than to settle for less than what they think they deserve. And that's why they will tend to remain alone. But even then, even sociopaths and psychopaths, they recognize when they had something good. They recognize if they were better with you rather than being alone. And most often they will have been better with you. Because although sociopaths and psychopaths, they don't need to have supply, the very fact that they picked you and they stayed with you for a certain amount of time, that reveals that you were a good supply source. But no narcissist is ever going to feel like they lost something real, like they had a connection and they missed out on something. They're never going to think like that. Even if they think they lost something of value, a benefit or convenience, they're just going to blame you. They'll play the victim and they will act like it was your fault. Like you're the reason why they didn't get what they wanted. They're never going to think that it's them. They're not going to blame themselves. Even if it could benefit them by blaming themselves, even if that was all they had to do, is just take the blame, accept the accountability for losing certain benefits, conveniences with you or with anyone. Even if that was all they had to do, they would not do it. They would hold on to their pride and ego. in most situations at least, because as we know, there are some situations where the narcissist will swallow their pride and they will take the blame. They will take accountability, whether they think it was their fault or not. And most often they won't think it was their fault. They will usually just play the victim and blame you. But in some situations, if the source is just too good to pass up, if it's just too difficult for them to resist, then yes, they may just come back with the fake apologies, the false epiphanies, more lies and future faking, because that's all you're going to get from them. But you may have a little honeymoon period again. They may go back to the love bombing for a certain amount of time. But usually, that doesn't happen with narcissists. They're only going to do that if they feel like they have to. And it's only if the supply is too difficult for them to resist. Then they will just cave in. And they may act like they realize what they did wrong and now they're finally going to change, they're going to be better for you. But other than that, they're not going to feel like they lost anything real. They're not going to think that way. They can't connect. They don't even want relationships. A relationship to a narcissist, that's just a means for them to obtain certain benefits and conveniences. Whether it's money, a place to stay, connections. That's all that is. And that's why when they get with you, it's like before you know it, they're living in your home, you're paying for everything. Maybe you're working 2 jobs and all they do is just sit on the couch all day, watching TV, eating potato chips. Because that's all they want. They just want an easy life. They don't want to go through any hardship. They don't want to have to endure any problems. They just want someone to take care of them, and that's really what a source of supply is. That's your job, as their supply. You are their caretaker. And also their emotional tampon, their emotional punching bag, their fool, their doormat. That's what we are to these narcissists. And they will keep using you as that until you finally recognize that you deserve more. You deserve better than that. Especially since there's no connection, it's just all about them. It's just all about their needs, their interests. It's never about you. But they will recognize when they go down to something of a lesser quality, when it's not as good as what it was with you. Of course they're going to recognize that. In children, at the ages of just 2 or 3 years old, they already develop this black and white mentality. They already know this is good, this is bad, this is right, this is wrong. They're already aware of that. So even though narcissists have an arrested emotional development, they do recognize what is good and what is bad. They recognize that what they had with you was good and was better for them. They are aware of that. They do notice the difference, the quality and the intensity of your supply source. That's why they were using it for such a long time. Why would they use it if it wasn't good? Why would they keep you around? They did because it was fueling them, it was validating them, it was making them feel good about themselves. It was what they wanted. And that really reveals to you the potency of your supply. And it should help you to realize that you are the one with the power. They are the ones who need you. You do not need them. You can do fine without them. And in fact, you will do a lot better without them in your life. Because then you can focus on yourself, your health, your work, your future. You can't do that when they're around because, as you know, it always has to be all about them. It's never about you. It's never about your feelings. It's never about what you want. Whenever they were around you, you just felt invisible. And I've said this before. It's more lonely being in a relationship, being in a room with a narcissist than being on your own. It really is, because when you're with a narcissist, it's all about them. You have to be their supply. You have to validate their feelings, their opinions, their beliefs, their reality. You have to make them feel better about themselves. As they brag and boast about their accomplishments or they play the victim, you have to validate all of that, but they don't validate anything about you. They don't listen to you. They don't want to hear you talk. They don't care about your feelings. They don't care about what you're going through. They don't care about what you want. So of course, when you're in a relationship with them, or you're just in the same room, it's a horrible experience and you just feel more alone, more lonely than if you were actually alone. It just makes you feel completely invisible because now no one is attending to you. Even you're not attending to you because you're attending to the narcissist. But that's how it goes. That's what it's like. And another thing the narcissist will be aware of, since they are able to differentiate between what's good and what's bad, they will recognize that your situation is improving. Your situation is getting better without them around. And of course it will get better because when you're with them, you're supplying them, you're giving them what they want, what they need, you're getting nothing out of it. So you're dwindling down, things are getting worse for you, your health, your energy, your money, your resources, it's all going down. Well, as for them, everything's getting better because you're supplying them, you're giving it to them. So naturally, as you move away from them, as you create distance, you will begin to elevate. Elevation requires separation. So when you move away, things get better for you. But when you're around them, no, your head's all over the place. You can't even think straight. You can't think clearly, you don't know what's going on. You're just so confused, bewildered, perplexed. There's just no understanding, no closure, no validation. And they just do more and more things to confuse and gaslight you. And that's why when you begin to move away from them, your head gets a lot clearer. You begin to understand what's going on. You begin to feel a lot better about yourself because then you can validate yourself instead of being constantly invalidated. Of course, they've got to invalidate you because that's how they keep you under control as their supply. That's how they stop you from getting away, by targeting your self-esteem and making you feel insecure. Because if you're confident and once you have your self-love and your self-respect, which they may have destroyed throughout the relationship, once you have that, that's when you begin to wake up. You begin to have this epiphany. You begin to realize it's like you look at yourself and the wonderful person that you are. Everything that you did to become the person that you are today, you begin to realize and become aware of that. And then you look at what you're dealing with them, their problems, their issues, and it just makes you wonder, what are you doing with them? because it's not serving you in any way. If anything, it's just depleting you. And once you've had that epiphany, it's very difficult for them to get you back under control again. They will try, of course, but it's not going to be successful. If you're still watching my videos every day, because now you're onto them, you've recognized that all of this time you've invested all of your energy, your efforts, and it's just gone to nothing. It didn't amount to anything, because just like with stocks and shares, just any type of investment, you can put as much capital as you want into it. If it's a low value investment, that's not going to make a difference. It's not going to help, because it has no value, so you're not going to get anything back in return. But if you take that and you put it into something more valuable, such as yourself, then you will begin to see the returns. And just think about that for a moment, because it's like, if what they're saying about you is true, then how come you can take your energy, your effort, your money and resources, you can take it away from them and invest it in yourself, and then things begin to develop, things begin to get better for you? How is that possible if you're not more valuable for them than them? If you're not more valuable than them, because also, as I said earlier on in this video, they typically tend to downgrade. They move on to a lower quality supply source. Things don't typically get better or improve for them. So they typically downgrade, and then they're left looking back, realizing that not that they had something real, but they had something good with you. They had something better. And now they've lost that. They haven't got that anymore, because they were so arrogant. They were just constantly expecting more and more from you, while not giving you anything. It's like all you got from them was just more problems, headaches, confusion. And that's typically why we pull back, because we realize at some point it's like, okay, if I give my time, my energy, my effort to this person, all I'm going to get back is more abuse. So maybe I should stop doing that and instead just invest more time and energy into myself. That's the conclusion that we begin to come to. You know, I went to a Buddhist temple earlier, the first one I've been to in this country, and it was great. It was so peaceful. It was nice just to sit down and pray to the Buddha. As many of you may know, I do like Buddhism. I wouldn't say that I am a Buddhist myself, as I'm still learning. I do enjoy a lot of the Buddhist teachings. Yeah, these narcissists, they're never going to realize that they had something real. They're never going to realize that, because that's not even relevant to them. That's not even what they're looking for. They don't care about anything real. They don't want anything real. That's not even on their radar. If it was, then they probably would have held on to you, because that's not what they were looking for. They were looking for condition you. They just feed it back to you because they know that's what you want. But that's not what they want. That's not what they care about. They can't even reach those higher frequencies. Your money and resources or your validation. They see someone who they can shape and mold, someone who they're able to manipulate. And that's why they sunk their teeth into you. That's why they got involved with you. That's why they kept you around. Not because they loved you. Not because they cared about you. Narcissists, they only care about themselves. They don't care about anyone else. And that's how everything they do is self-serving. That's why they betrayed you. That's why they happily threw you under the bus. Because they don't care about you. They don't love you. If they did, then that love, that would have stopped them from doing that. But it didn't. Because they don't care about you. They only care about themselves. No narcissist is ever going to care about anyone other than themselves, but even then, that's not self. That's not who they really are. And I know it may be difficult to cure this and to accept it, but it's something you've got to do. You've got to practice that radical acceptance, the situation for what it is. They never loved you, they never cared about you, they never did, they never will, they never have, and they're never going to. But it's not just you, they're never going to care about anyone but themselves, but their false self. But they will realize that they have gone on to a worse situation without you. Without their grade A source of supply. Of course they're going to realize that. Of course they're going to recognize it. They're going to recognize that something is missing. They don't have what they had before. Because they had something so much better before. I mean, you've got to think, narcissists are all about themselves. All they care about is their own self-interest. So if they move on to another situation, and they're not being served in the way that they were before, of course they're going to notice that. They're going to be highly aware of it. Because they're going to recognize that they're not getting that same type of energy. They're not feeling as good as they were before. They're going to notice that reduction in quality and intensity. It's going to be obvious. It's going to be easily noticeable to them. And then, naturally, they're going to look back and realize they had a much better situation with you. They felt a lot more comfortable with you. They were having a much better time with you. They're going to be thinking they had a good ride with you. Because that's how they think. They're going to be thinking they had all of the things they wanted with you. But as they get, they're also arrogant and entitled. They always want more. And that's really what ends up. They always want more. And that's what makes you not want to be around them. Because they're so arrogant and entitled. It's like they want more from you. And it's like you're not even getting what you want out of the relationship. So, but then they are very delusional. You know, they think they're the best thing since sliced bread. So, whatever they get from you, they always believe they deserve more. And that's typically why many narcissists, they do have multiple sources of supply. Because one person is never enough to satisfy a narcissist. But even if a narcissist had 100 sources, that still wouldn't be enough. They still want to be satisfied. And I know you may feel like it's something to do with you. You're not good enough. It's not you. You can never be good enough for a narcissist. Even if there was a perfect person walking the earth, that person still would not be enough for the narcissist. They would still find something wrong with them. And they would find something wrong with them because narcissists are not enough for themselves. If they were enough for themselves, and if they were in higher frequencies of love and peace, maybe then they would finally understand. But because now they're operating in the lower vibrations, they can't perceive things the way that we do, because they're at a much lower frequency. They're not vibrating at the frequency of peace and love. They don't want to do anything that might otherwise bring peace to you. They don't want to love you. They don't even care about love. That means nothing to them. They've got a very, very different idea to us of what love is. To them, give them what they want. But what about what you want? It's like they always get what they want, but you never get what you wanted. And you never get what you wanted with a narcissist because they haven't even got that to give to you. It was all a fantasy, it was a false character, that was idealization. They made you believe that they're like this perfect angel, but that was never who they are. They just tried to cater towards what they thought you wanted. And of course, we're not perfect angels either, but that's how they viewed us in the beginning. They idealized us. You always know how a narcissist thinks about you by how they treat you and what they reflect back to you. Because when they are walking around acting like their poop doesn't stink, as though they're the best thing since sliced bread, that's because that's how they view you. It's because they're idealizing you, and in that moment they view you as perfect. At least until that image of perfection that they're getting from you, at least until that begins to have a negative effect on them and it begins to make them feel insecure. And then they've got to take you off the pedestal that they put you on. They've got to devalue you because initially they're idealizing you and you're both on the same level. Then something happens and they feel insecure, they feel like they're beneath you, so then they've got to bring you down. They've got to level the playing field. And also because they're very greedy, they're very selfish, then they want to put you beneath them, if that's even possible. Because I don't think there's anyone in this world who could feel worse than a narcissist feels. They are completely miserable. And maybe that's why they put on like they're having such a great time. They're overcompensating for how they really feel. And that's why whenever they're around you, you don't feel good as well. If they felt good, you would feel good too. But you don't, because they don't feel good. They just try to make you believe that they do. And they're not feeling too good where they are now, because they typically downgrade, and they will notice the reduction in the intensity. They will notice how, yes, I felt a lot better before. Things were a lot better in a previous situation. Is how they're going to be thinking. And to some degree, they may even feel some regrets. They may wish that they could go back to how things were with you. Because there's so much disappointment, dissatisfaction, and happiness. They're not happy now. I mean, they weren't happy with you either, they're never happy. But it was more tolerable. They felt like they were getting what they wanted with you. But yeah, they made their beds, and now you just got to let them lie in it. Now let's take a look at the live chat. Let's see what everyone's saying down here. Dr. Warner W. says they will take and take and take until you have nothing left to give. My ex-narc didn't like anything I did, they can't apologize. Yeah, they will take and take until you've got nothing left to give. And that's because they're so empty. When they're taking and taking, I mean, it's almost like when you're filling your car up with fuel and maybe you're not looking at the meter. Maybe you didn't see how empty the tank was. But you're just standing there filling it up and all of this time is going by. And then you're thinking to yourself, this car must be really empty. There must be no fuel in the tank. Because it's just going and going, it's taking more and more. And it's the same thing with a narcissist. The reason why they have to take and take from you is because they have a void that can never be filled. They can never be satisfied. And at least knowing that, we bring you some level of comfort to knowing that whatever they take from you, they're never going to be happy anyway. Lorraine Diane says they're looking for a perfect person and a perfect relationship, but can't contribute anything positive to it. Exactly, Lorraine. I mean, narcissists, they are the definition of negative. All they do is take. As psychologist Ross Rosenberg has said, narcissists are takers, codependents are givers. And yeah, they're looking for a perfect person, but they've nothing to bring to it. All they do is take away. And that's why many of us, we go through years of abuse. We're nothing like the person that we were before. It's like before we got involved with them, we were so happy, we had so much energy, so much enthusiasm, we were so full of life. And then after dealing with them, we're so negative, we're so pessimistic. It's like we've given up hope. It's like we don't know what to do. And that's just what they do to us. They take away all of your hopes, dreams and ambitions. And they leave you to become a shell of yourself. Marajik Van de Meer says, I'm now single for 6 years. Sorry to hear that, Marajik. Although, I don't think being single is too bad these days. I mean, if you just look at the dating marketplace and you see what's going on there, on the dating apps, and even just looking on social media, most people in this world, and I would say 99.99999%, they are not worth dating. They're not even worth your time or effort. Because as someone said before, most people in this world are so negative. They're getting into relationships, situationships, whatever it is, just to take something, just to benefit themselves. But they don't have anything to bring to you. And that's how, like I said earlier, many of us were just better off being alone, taking that time, energy, effort, money and resources that we would otherwise invest into these narcissistic and toxic people. We're better off taking all of that and investing it into ourselves. Because a lot of people in this world, they are low value. Just measure the amount of time and energy that you're investing into them and looking at what you're getting back. It's depleting you, it's draining you, because they're no good, they're garbage. And I know we want to be kind, we want to be positive, but at some point we just got to wake up. We've got to recognize what we're actually dealing with. Because as I said before, your value is not based on what you consume, your value is based on what you give. And especially if someone is giving something to you, they're giving you their time, their energy, their enthusiasm, their effort, and you're just taking it, you're draining it, like narcissists do. When they're doing that, it just reveals how low value they are. It just reveals that they are empty vessels. Because otherwise, how can you keep pouring into them and there's no motivation, no desire for them to want to reciprocate anything back to you? Because I know exactly how that feels. I've been through some things in my life where I felt depleted. I felt used. I didn't feel good about myself. I felt like I've been manipulated, exploited by narcissists, toxic people. But it only took a little bit of someone's time and attention, and then it filled up my cup to where I was then able to pour into someone else. And this is how you know. It's like having a cup with a leak at the bottom. You can pour as much as you want, pour in your heart and soul. It's never going to be full. It's never going to be enough. Because they are black holes. They have a void that can never be filled. And that's why they're like leeches, parasites, bottom feeders. That's why they cheat, lie and steal. That's why they do the things that they do, because it's never enough. Well, as for us as empaths, we can be easily satisfied. And trust me, they do hate, envy and resent us for that. They see how it's so easy for us and so hard for them. It's like their cup can never be filled. Never be full. I've got so much passion in my heart tonight. I just really want to help as many of you as I can. I've got so much energy inside of me. And as you may know, I took a flight just yesterday. Yesterday I went to sleep at what would have been maybe 2 a.m. where I was in Malaysia before. But despite that, I've just got so much energy inside of me, and I want to give it all to you. I want to help you all. I want to give you all of this passion, all of this enthusiasm that I've got. Because who knows how long it's going to be there for. Believe it or not, I'm actually 35 years old. I know I don't look it. I know I look young, youthful. I do try to take good care of my skin. But the most important thing for me, it's not how I look on the outside. It's all of this energy and enthusiasm that I have on the inside. Because on the inside, I still feel like a kid. I still feel like I can do anything. I still feel like I can take on the world. And I don't know, I guess that's just my character, it's my personality. And I'll probably be this way until the very end. And I know many of you who are watching this now as empaths, I know you feel that inside as well. And of course, that's why these narcissists target you, because they want that. They want that purity that you have inside of you, that childlike innocence. Because just look at the world, it's so rare today. Most people are so miserable, so down, so depressed. It's like they died a long time ago. They're physically there, but they've got no heart, no soul, no passion, no enthusiasm. And I know many of you, you've been drained, you've been depleted, and that's why I love getting on here and giving you all of my energy. I want to fill everyone's cup back up, because you do that for me. Every time that you support my content, you leave comments in the comment section, and you give me donations. Ellie Wynn says, I feel like a kid too, and I'm much older. You know, there's nothing wrong with feeling like a kid. Of course, there's a time and there's always situations to be serious. But I think it's really good to hold on to that childhood magic. It's very important, because I believe that this world is our playground. And we did come here to enjoy this physical reality and to have fun. And yeah, there's a time to be even immature, playful, and to have fun. There's definitely a time for that. Of course, we don't want to do that all the time. You've got to have some times when we can be serious and take on adult responsibilities and everything. But yeah, I think it's very important to hold on to that inner child. And this is mentioned in human psychology. Many of us, we have that inner child. Narcissists have a traumatized, broken inner child. They're like these child demons. It's like from the movie Chucky. These demonic dolls. That's what they are. Yeah, Eddie Wynn says they are like the dead, the real vampires of our times. They really are. But I want to be an angel. I want to be a beacon of light to all of you. And I do believe that I am a chosen one. I do believe that I have been gifted with this limitless energy to where I could make videos every day for 6 years. I do believe that I have been gifted with that to where I could then impact the lives of over 50 million people around the world. I do believe that I have that for a reason, and that's really what motivates me to get on here every day. And of course, when I get on, I never want to get off, because I get so immersed in this experience with you. As I've said before, when I make these live videos, and even when I watch other people's YouTube videos as well, to me that feels more real than real life. Than dealing with people that I meet in person. Although what does feel more real than anything is when I'm around animals, children, when I'm in nature. That's a very real, authentic experience for me. But most of the people, no, it never feels real with them. But it does feel very real with all of you. But yeah, that's what I got to say for this video. Let me just show the city. But you know, I think there's more to this city than this. I don't think that this is all that there is. But I haven't actually been over there as well. I'm not sure what that is, if it's just apartments or... I walked over that area, somewhere down there. But I would like to see more before I finally return back to Nala. I gotta say though, I'm already missing her. She's just a bundle of joy. She's got such wonderful energy. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, I know we had a bit more fun on this one. If you liked it, if you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up down below. I really appreciate it. Hit subscribe and click all notifications so that you will be notified when I go live in the future. And if you would like to donate, I appreciate all donations, no matter how small. You can donate through my PayPal. It is paypal.me/Narc Survivor. I hope this video was informative for you. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. If you'd like to book a one-on-one with me, just go to my website. It is narcsurvivor.co.uk. And also follow me on Instagram. I just posted some reels today of me on the beach in Malaysia from last year. You can see all of that and so much more. Follow me on Instagram. It is Narc Survivor YouTube. Thank you all for joining me on another Narc Survivor live video, live from the city. I appreciate you all, and I look forward to speaking with you in another live video very soon.